Hi, I'm Laura Beth Wells, and this is Theater Thursdays. This month we're talking about Blithe Spirit, and today we have Carol Mayo Jenkins with us. Hi, Carol.
Hello, Laura Beth. Such fun to be with you today to talk about Blithe Spirit.
Hi again. I'm Laura Beth Wells, coming to you from Knoxville, Tennessee, the native lands of the Yuchi and Muskogee Creek people, as well as the Cherokee Nations. I am an actor with the Clarence Brown Theater Company, as well as an adjunct professor in the theater department. Carol, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, Laura Beth. I am Carol Mayo Jenkins. I am an artist in residence at the university. I teach acting in the graduate and undergraduate programs, and I played Madame Arcati in Blithe Spirit.
Excellent. And I played Mrs. Bradman in Blithe Spirit, and it was so much fun to do this show with you. And I'm so glad to be talking to you about it today. Before we begin, tell us a little bit about the play Blithe Spirit and about the playwright, Noel Coward. What's the play about? Why is it important in terms of the historical theater canon? Talk to us a little bit about the piece itself and the playwright.
Well, it was written in 1941. In late 1940 and early 1941, London was being heavily bombed by the Germans. Noel Coward went to Australia, and he was highly criticized for leaving England during this terrible time. He came back because he thought he was going to get a job working as a spy, essentially, in the sort of British intelligence. But when he came back, he was told that no, because he had been so criticized for leaving, they thought it would not be appropriate to offer him that job. Noel Coward was hurt by that. He had a particular relationship with the middle class. The middle class in England at that point, after the unspeakable horrors of World War I and the mad excess of the 1920s in reaction to that, had sort of settled in to a very careful regimen of behavior, the manners, the mores of in order to form a reasonable, rational, controlled world, which they needed very much. It was sort of the beginnings of the stiff upper lip or the keep calm and carry on of the British, which served them so well in World War II. Noel Coward mocked that in a way. At the same time, he longed to be part of that middle class world because he was one of those rare birds that did not fit that mold. So when he didn't get the job, his house had been bombed, his country estate had been appropriated by the army. He was sort of hanging out in the Savoy Hotel, and a friend of his invited him down to Wales to get away. So he went. And in 5 days, he wrote Blithe Spirit. He wrote it specifically to help his countrymen get through the war. He said that. And he wrote it to be funny. And he brought it back. It was produced within a month. It ran for 1,997 performances in the West End. It ran longer than the war.
Wow. That's amazing.
He contributed more to the war effort through his writing of Blithe Spirit than he would have if he had been working in the Foreign Office. It's also interesting that during the war, during the Blitz, during this horrible bombing, the theaters never closed. The King and the Queen never left London. They were out in the streets every day talking to people who'd lost their homes. I mean, that British spirit, and he loved that spirit. So what is it that's funny about the play is these very well-ordered, well-mannered, reasonable, rational people who do not fling themselves about physically or vocally or emotionally or in any way, are suddenly confronted with a ghost. And not just any ghost, but the ghost of the gentleman's ex-wife. So we have the ex-wife, and the wife is jealous of the ex-wife, even though the ex-wife is a ghost. And the gentleman thinks maybe they can all just get along and live together because they're trying to fit the ghost into their well-ordered world, but it doesn't work.
And one of the other things that gets thrown into their well-ordered world is Madame Arcati, which is the role that you played. And this is an iconic role in the theater canon. It's a bucket list role. It's right up there. And how did you go about, what was your process as an actor for creating this woman? How did you approach her? What was your process in creating your character?
Well, I begin with research always. It's one of my favorite parts of acting, being able to study and learn and go back into other worlds. I think that Madame Arcati is, I made the first thing that our director, Sharon Ott, asked me is she real? And I made the decision that she is, and I think she must be, because if you accept that there is a ghost, and you must accept it because there she is on the stage, you see her and hear her, then you must accept that Madame Arcati, who is a medium, did indeed bring her back from the other side. Besides, to assume that Madame Arcati is somehow a kind of charlatan is mean-spirited and not in the world of this play at all. So she is invited to come to dinner because the host is a writer and he doesn't believe in the other world. Nobody believes in the other world, but they sort of want to find out about her. So she arrives and explains that she has had this gift since she was a child, but to her, it's not extraordinary at all. Some people fix cars, some people write poetry, some people communicate with the other world. And she sees it as a sort of a service to help people who would like to communicate with their dear departed. So that's what she does. She's never had anything happen like having a real ghost appear before. And she can't see the ghost. Nobody can see the ghost except the husband. But she knows she's there. And then she is asked later to please send her back. Well, she has no idea how to do that. But she does have a 12-year-old child whom she communicates with on the other side, Daphne. And so she works with Daphne, but it's very hard to send this ghost back. And all the time, these people are trying to sort out how this can possibly be happening. It's very difficult to play an iconic role like Madame Arcati because everybody has their idea of what she's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. And some people think that she should be more outrageous. I had friends who told me I wasn't funny.
You were fun.
But you have to consider that even with Madame Arcati, it's through the language. It's not through jokes or overplaying. If you overplay it, it's a disaster.
Yeah. And that is a perfect segue into the second part of creating this role. There is so much physical comedy. There's so much physicality that she does throughout the play. What was it like as an actor preparing for that? And then also, how did you work with Sharon Ott, the director, and Margot Birdwhistle, the costume designer? How did the three of you work together to find costumes that would support that physicality and then also support the character that you were creating?
Well, Margot was wonderful in that they consulted Sharon and me in the very beginning, and I got to talk to them about my feeling that Madame Arcati had traveled extensively and had Asian and Indian influences in her clothes and her jewelry. Sharon felt very strongly that I should wear culottes because I arrive on a bicycle. I loved Margot's clothes for me. The sort of tweedy culottes, the sort of vest and tie. It was very, it's a sort of genre that is sometimes referred to as jolly hockey sticks, that sort of British matron. The culottes, of course, made it possible for me to roll on the floor and fling my legs around and all that sort of thing. Sharon, due to my advanced age, did suggest that perhaps I wouldn't have to do all of that. And I said, no, because I consider that my job. You have a role where she falls on the floor. Well, then you fall on the floor. That's what you have to do.
Yeah. What was your favorite part? Favorite moment?
Oh, I think the seances were the most fun. I loved Daphne. Oh. Daphne's 12 years old, and she died rather tragically, and she is naughty, and she has a cold. She's been feeling badly. Daphne was very real to me.
Well, and Lily did the voice.
Yes,
my daughter, she did the voice. So Daphne was a favorite in this household as well. Carol, yes. It's been wonderful talking to you today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Laura Beth.
And join us next time on Theater Thursdays. All this month, we're going to be talking about Blithe Spirit. See you then.